VFX. The process by which imagery is created or manipulated outside the context of live-action shots in filmmaking and video production. The integration of live-action footage and CGI elements to create realistic imagery. VFX plays a major role in movie and TV shows in which we watch today, from low-budget Netflix films to the high-end $2 billion blockbusters of this season. James Cameron. Let's start at VFX First Frontiers and discover how constantly innovating and evolving VFX technology affected movies today. Boom. Huge title card. Explosion. Explosion. Scene. Like all inventions, every idea starts simple. For VFX, it began around the late 50s, early 60s. It was mainly practical effects, known as SFX, in which they had film meshing. You would film the same scene separately with a foreground and background, and then you would put them together. Magic. You would have some simple VFX. A matte painter would be commissioned to paint a background for a movie, painting only the parts that would show, then the physical set would fill in the blanks. As the years progressed and film meshing became more complex and computer program became more prevalent, stop motion, CGI, and other VFX methods began to flood the movie screens. Things like Jason's Argonauts, 1963, Jaws, 1975, King Kong, 1976, Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, 1979, all these movies built upon different uses of frame rate and camera work. But one movie that came out around this time stands above the rest, not only as a movie that started an international legacy fandom, but innovated new technologies from scratch that were groundbreaking in the VFX industry. In the words of George Lucas, movies are special effects. Visual effects create the magic that makes people want to go to the movies, because they can see things they can't see any other way. And in this case, we're talking about how George Lucas and VFX director John Dykstra tried to create a movie no one has ever seen before. To do that, they created new equipment, techniques, and methods that push VFX frontiers. At Industrial Light and Magic, ILM for short, one of the ways they pushed the frontier was creating new cameras to solve a problem with filming several VFX shots in A New Hope. This issue was that mainstream VFX people and companies were using old techniques. If you wanted to do something, it had already been invented for you. But to do the trench run scene and many other VFX shots for the movie, they needed to create a new camera to capture emotion the same way each time. To do this, they created a motion capture camera, dubbed the Dykstraflex. The other one was named the Technorama, or Rama for short. It was a camera in which you record movement for scenes. To build this, John Dykstra and his team built the computer, programmed the software, and also building one of the cameras out of old VistaVision camera sets. What they created was something low profile and could do several identical passes to get the VFX shots they needed. Pushing technology allowed Star Wars to be the spectacle it was. Every movie from Star Wars after used this type of motion capture technology to make their movies. The Dykstraflex was truly what made Star Wars stand out above the rest. From then on, it would continue to be a staple of ILM, and the technology they used would be built upon it. After the success of Star Wars and productions like E.T., Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Alien, VFX became so much more integral to the production process of movies. When the 2000s hit, many movies relied heavily on VFX to show their characters and the world of their story. One such film that broke the box office worldwide and became one of the highest grossing films of all time, and with its re-release recently in 2021, making $2.9 million. Avatar, directed and written by James Cameron, was an international phenomenon. VFX artists today still look at that film as the pinnacle of what imagination could accomplish. But where to begin with the groundbreaking VFX of that movie? The first main way Avatar was a success was the improved use of rotoscoping. Rotoscoping is an animation technique that animators use to trace over motion picture footage, frame by frame, to produce realistic action. The improvement upon its technology allows Cameron to get realistic facial expressions on the native race on Pandora, the Na'vi. Actors are put in special suits that track and film their face. This allows for the VFX artist to design and map characters over the actor. The new technology allowed for the film to be 60% CGI. The second reason is the insane and technical engineering of a company called Weta. Weta pioneered a new generation of VFX techniques to bring the world of Pandora and its people to life. Weta brought innovations in real-time performance capture, facial rigging, 3D animation, and compositing. The detail, scale, and complexity of Avatar proved that the VFX frontier had reached a point in which it could maintain the illusion, the suspension of belief, throughout the entire movie. The innovations that Weta built and what they pioneered changed the way VFX was approached, and its impact on the industry can still be felt today. It's 2023. VFX is more commonplace. The secrets of the magic trick are out and anyone can be the magician. So, what happens to the illusion? I had gotten help reaching out to a VFX artist and heard some of what he had to say. Say hi, Scott.
Hello, my name is Scott Eade. I'm a technical specialist with Autodesk. I'm based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. A little bit background on myself. I'm actually come from and have been schooled in animation and visual effects. So I spent about 15 years of my professional career in animation and visual effects. I also worked at Weta Effects. I worked on the original Avatar movie. I've worked on other movies back home in Vancouver. So hopefully I can answer these with a right amount of content and with the information that you're looking for.
That's awesome. So my first question, what new techniques and technologies have been created to improve realism in an animated movie over the past 10 years?
So really good question. There's been a lot of development in and around what would be just computing power. That is in both what would be CPU and GPU computing power. There's also added in that just the rendering capabilities. So with computing power, you're able to render more. And then just with rendering capabilities, it's the ability to just kind of render more complex scenes, more lighting, more shading, things like that to make things just look more realistic and make the environment look more realistic. There's also been a lot of development for things like scanning technologies, whether that be for environments like LiDAR scanning, where they can, actually input large environments into a computer very easily by scanning it, but also scanning characters. So if you want to recreate like a humanoid character, you can actually scan them, their entire body or just their face, whatever it is you're kind of looking for, and then be able to transfer that into 3D.
That's amazing. I can definitely recognize this as an avid moviegoer myself. My next question is, what factors contribute to the development of new technologies?
This comes from a few different areas, and most of my answers are coming from my own experience. But for me, what I would say is a lot of times things come from just production requirements. A studio has a new idea or they have a new concept that they want to put forward. And a lot of development has to happen to actually make that look the way it needs to look, or to be able to actually get it done in a specific amount of time.
I see. That makes sense. So my final question, what is the legacy Autodesk hopes to have not only in the VFX industry, but in the film community as a whole?
Extremely good question. I mean, Autodesk, from a media and entertainment standpoint, the idea and the hope is that everyone is using Autodesk products as a standard across the board, and be able to be, in the end, I guess, as a legacy, just the standard across the industry. And just being able to say, like, look, all of these amazing films, all of these amazing games, and all of these amazing animated TV shows and things like that are done with Autodesk products.
That's a great legacy to strive towards. Thank you so much.
We didn't have a lot of time, and I really, really do hope this helps you move forward. Thanks very much.
Thank you again, Scott. From research I have done, I can see how constant improvement is affecting our movies today. From bringing to the screen larger-than-life scenery and helping create something that brings wonder to our lives and screens, I can't wait to see what the future has in store for the VFX industry. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll create something that not only enhances the illusion, but blurs the line itself.